Equality and justice are not the same. They're not the same, but they are related to one another. For example, when we talk about human rights, we talk about equal human rights. Isn't that true? We talk about equal human rights for everybody. And that's a matter of justice. But in Islam, we make a further distinction. We don't say that giving everybody exactly equal, that may not always be fair. If somebody worked harder and somebody worked less and you give them equal pay, that's not fair. So equality is not always justice. But in some instances it is. The same approach, incidentally, I know I'm going to start a controversy here, but the same approach the Qur'an takes and the Sunnah of the Prophet takes, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when it comes to the rights of men and the rights of women. It is unequivocally clear in Islam that the rights of men and women are not equal. They're absolutely not equal. I mean, the Qur'an is explicit about that. They're different, absolutely. I'm not going to say higher or lower, but they are different. They're significantly different from one another. The expectations from men are different. The expectations from women are different. The obligations men have are different. The obligations women have are different. The rights men have are different. And the rights women have are different. So even though they're not equal, the Qur'an's argument is they are still fair. They're still just. You know, in the modern sense, some of you college students, you know, you go to college and you take a women's lib course. I met a few students who've taken women's lib in college. And they get really stumped because the professor asked them, how come Islam doesn't give equal rights to men and women? How is that fair? See, again, the concept is you're confusing equality with justice. There's two separate issues and you have to talk about them separately. If you want equal rights, and one of these students just came and asked me, and I was on my way to a road trip, and he said, can you just give me a 1-minute answer so I can tell my professor something? I was like, I don't know if you can have the conversation about equality and justice in 1 minute. But if you say that they are equal, then they should be equal in creation too. Men don't get pregnant. Men don't carry children. Men are physiologically different. Psychology studies are now not even talking about the physiological differences between men and women, but the neurological differences between men and women, the psychological differences between men and women, the sociological differences between men and women. This is not just something Islam is saying. Modern science is saying it. Sociology is saying it. Modern society is saying it. Men are from Mars, women are, Venus or Mars. I keep confusing those two, right? Right? But they are fundamentally different. So they are, and that's not my subject today, but I wanted to highlight there is such a thing as equality that's separate and justice that's separate. Sometimes they come together, other times they don't.